step on my Russ Simmons. Hold on, step on my Russ Simmons. Hold on, step on my Russ Simmons. Do you know how much I'm spending? My closet is worth about $1 million.
So on this windy day today, we're going to be looking at a 2015 Nissan Altima SV. And I apologize for the wind. It's just one of those things in the Midwest you got to deal with the changing weather patterns. And as you can see, it does need a wash. It is going to rain the next couple days, so not going to wash it. It's not my car. But anyway, I think this is a good looking car. And let me just start with a little disclaimer. Now, this is not a I want a bucket Scotty Kilmer kind of pickup. So like I said, this is a 2015 Nissan Altima. The person who got it, she's a single female with no kids, and you know, she makes 50-ish, something like that a year. So it's not something where she's looking for a cheap car. It's been a good vehicle for her, so she's had it for a couple years. She did get it used with 30-something thousand miles, so it came off of a low mileage lease, and so it's not like a rental vehicle. And one of the things that I will say about this vehicle is I think this Altima looks better than the 2015 Camrys and Accords. Maybe the Accord Sport looks just as good, but I like the shape of this car. She does have fog lights. They're halogen lights in the front. Unfortunately, that fog light got damaged somehow. I don't even think she knows how it got damaged. But this car does have the 2.5 liter with the CVT, and it hasn't given her any trouble. She has like 50,000 miles on it now. Okay, so this car does have good space. It's a good sized trunk. The opening's not too high. It's wide-ish, so that's cool. It is a 5-seater car. This car does have, you know, it's a mid-range. The SV is a mid-range, so it has 4-wheel disc, and I believe 16-inch wheels. I think so. I think those are 16, so not huge. I would prefer to have like a larger wheel, but it does have remote start. Well, let's lock it. And it starts. And so she doesn't use that feature a lot, but when it does get cold, it is convenient. We'll go ahead and get in. What I will say is that this car does have good space. Like, I can sit in the back seat and it's nice. I mean, this kind of sucks with this coming down. I don't know what happened there, but the seats are like a nice, not a memory foam, but they're zero gravity seats, so they are pretty comfortable. You got your faux Alcantara, whatever, over here. You know, you got your power windows. This one's automatic up, and these things come down pretty fast, so much faster than in my Jetta. I mean, even this one goes down really fast. One thing I like about this car is it is push button start. Obviously, it has, you know, Bluetooth, cruise control. There's a radio. Has automatic dual zone climate control, so that's cool. And like I said, the interior looks really good. You know, as you can see right here, you got your sunglass holder and your reading lamps. And one thing I like about this car, we'll go ahead and drive it a little bit, is that as you drive, it does show you tire pressure. So after a while, the tire pressure will come on and it'll show you the exact pressure in all 4 wheels, which I think is really cool. You know, there's not a ton of electronics in the gauge, but again, you know, that's not what you're paying for. This is not a luxury vehicle, but it does check all the basic boxes. You do have a damped, not aligned glove compartment, so that's cool. Your cup holders are cool. You have, you know, storage at this top part here, and then this bottom part here, so that's cool. You got a trunk release. It does have the parking brake down at the bottom, no biggie. And the car drives smooth, honestly. Like, you can't really hear it. And I know a lot of people complain about CVT. You don't really notice a car is a CVT until you really press it. And then you notice it's not changing gears. I realized that with my brother's Maxima. And I know the difference between automatics and CVTs and manual. But I'll drive a little bit on the highway so you can kind of hear it. But it's a quiet car. Like, the seating position is good. Like, you can't really see to the end of the bumper, but I like it's like a medium height. It doesn't feel like you're sitting down in the car too much. The visibility's good. The back is kind of a little bit squatty, but I mean, all modern cars are like that. They don't have these huge rear glasses, but you know, the AC works well. The doors work well. They close and they're pretty solid. So here in the back seat, this is her driving position. She's tall, but you know, I still have room back here. This seat is kind of lean back with a gangster lean, but there's good room back here. Good visibility. I wouldn't put 5 people in this car, but I wouldn't put 5 people in most cars, even large cars. We don't roll like that. But let's take a look under the hood. Right now, one gripe I do have about this car is that the fuel doors on some of these Altimas feels kind of flimsy, whereas on my Jetta and Passat it didn't feel that way. And I kind of feel the same way about the trunk. I think the metal in this car is not quite as thick. Maybe it's just as thick, but it feels slightly thinner. All right, so it is a little dusty under here, and you may need to clean that battery terminal. Anyway, yeah, it's pretty clean. You can't really see anything under here, but the engine's not that loud. It runs just fine. There are no issues. All right, so getting back in the vehicle, another little gripe I have, and the vehicle is running. So it is pretty quiet, so let's rev it up. So it does sound good. And that's a 4-banger. So that's kind of crazy that you can rev it over 4,000 RPM and drive. But anyway, yeah, one of my gripes is that these buttons feel kind of cheap on the car. She's had this car for 2 years, and she's gone on like 2 trips that were 12 hours each way. And the only thing she's had done on this car, she had to get 2 tires replaced, and then she's gotten the oil changed. But other than that, it's just been routine. But she doesn't want to be running back and forth to the mechanic. So nobody does, especially a woman. So let's take it on a drive, and then I can kind of give you some driving impressions. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and voice over this part of the video. Unfortunately, I didn't bring a holder for my phone, so I just sat the phone in the cup holder, and this is a terrible angle. A little bit later, I'll show you some driving impressions while I'm actually holding the phone. But one of the things that I'm covering in this part of the video is the fact that the sound system, it leaves something to be desired. The sound system in my Jetta is also 6 speakers like this one, but it's better. And my brother has like a 2012 or 2013 Maxima with the Bose. And my Jetta even sounds better than that. So, all right, so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and take you back to a driving portion where I'm actually showing the road. I will say that this car doesn't squeak and rattle, so I think the build is pretty good. And before I show you that clip, I am going to leave you with a clip of me getting on the highway so you can kind of hear the droning of the CVT. So here we go. Now, when you put your foot down, I don't like how it just drones and it doesn't shift down, because I'm a traditionalist. Hey guys, so we're riding in this car and it's pretty smooth. I mean, the only thing is, if you like the traditional shifting and whatnot, yeah, you might have a problem because you're not going to hear that sound. It is a CVT, but the power delivery is smooth. The engine has adequate power in this vehicle. When you're riding over bumps and things, like, it doesn't get wobbly or it doesn't feel boaty. I think it has a good balance of shock absorption without being too stiff. So it's a good middle of the road vehicle. You know, get you to point A to point B, and it's comfortable. You know, if you press it, it can get a little buzzy. But it's nothing too crazy. It's easy to drive. The ride height is good. You know, you don't have to, like, you're not sitting on the floor, but you're not sitting up super high. So I'll say, if I was going to get a version of this car, I wouldn't get the 3.5 liter. Like, getting the lower fuel economy is just not worth it. I mean, because the 3.5 is not a sports car. So, I mean, yeah, you could zip around more, but when you're turning corners and things like that, you're still in an Altima.